Hello there, and this is a demonstration how to complete a player transfer using the Play Cricket system. For this I'm going to use Skipton Church Institute CC and a team that I've made up for the benefit of this demonstration, CIPL teams, and we'll also look at how the Craven League can administer it. So to set the scene, we want to transfer a player called Rob Linfoot from Skipton CIPL teams to Skipton CIPL. So I am Skipton CI and I want to transfer Rob Linfoot to us. So the first thing I'll do is go into League Administration and click on Members. In the member database there, if I click that, we can see that that gives us several options to search for current members of the club, and then also we've got a button here to add a new member. So if we click this, the player's approached us. We know the club he's coming from, so we're going to type the player's surname, and the club he's coming from is Skipton CIPL, but if I just put Skipton in there and search, we can see Skipton CIPL teams on the list. Click the little thumbs up. And there we can see him. So this is Rob Linfoot, who plays for Skipton CIPL. Select that. And if you look at the green tab at the top there, we can see that a request has been sent to CIPL. So the team who the player is transferring from, so in this case Skipton CIPL, if I exit the administration here, that's all the actions required from the club receiving the player up until this point. So the administrator for CIPL teams will then get an email saying a player that Skipton CICC want the Rob Linfoot to transfer to them. And then if I go into administration for CIPL, I can see here in my workflow that there's a request to access player records, and we can see here that Rob Linfoot has been requested by Skipton CICC by the administrator, which is me, and obviously, or hopefully, the player has told CIPL that he wants to transfer, and this won't be news. If it is, we can send an email to the administrator saying this is news to me, or anything you want to say really, but in this case we just want to authorise it. And this will also now give me, as the losing team, to remove all records for the player, which is recommended for a transfer. If the player's going on a loan, do not remove the status, but if it's a full-on transfer, remove it from the records. And that is the losing team's input complete to the transfer. If we see here, so once that's complete by CIPL, we will get an email. So the administrator for CI will get an email saying that it's been approved. And if I go back into administration, again in the workflow, we can see that the player there we have a player request that has been authorised. Click on view, and in here we can see there Rob Linfoot has been authorised from CIPL teams. And if we go into the roles now, we can then add roles to this player for his new team. So we want to use him as an umpire sometimes, or a scorer. We can add or activate that role in the club. Also recommended to activate them for every team that he's likely or potentially will be playing for. That enables captains to select them directly from Play Cricket when using Play Cricket to do team selections, etc. And then this is where we can do the transfer for the league. So here are all the details. You've got to ensure that every box with a red star is filled in. Sorry, a star is filled in. We can see there all these details are fictional to protect data. And here we can see Skipton CI as a Craven League registered club. you can then apply to register the player with the club. At this point, if he's a loan player, this is where if he's loaned for a couple of weeks, we can click yes here and then put a loan expiry date, and then the player will be registered with the loan club for that period. If that's the case, do not delete the records from the losing club. So as you can see here, we're looking at player categories, the definitions are below, and click next. So here we have the questions. So this is a standard nomination. Is the player currently registered? No with the league. If it's yes, tick yes. Child welfare list, no. Debtors list, no. Disciplinary list, no. And is it before the deadline? Yes. And here as well, this is a note for the league. So if you want to just add any amplifying information to the league, you can do. So I'm just going to add here, transferring from Skipton CIPL, and that CIPL have approved it. And if I could spell, that would be much quicker. So I'm going to go ahead and click save. That then completes our input to the league. So he successfully applied for league registration. Now that will send an email to the league administrator, who will then log into their Play Cricket as the Craven League. So if I just click on the tab for Craven League at the top and enter administration, on here we can see in our workflow for the Craven League that there's a nomination in progress. I can view this and it's telling me here that on that date Rob Linfoot wants to transfer from. So if it's already another club within Craven League, say from MC to Skipton, that would say transferring from. But because the club transferring from isn't within a league, that's not populated. If we click view, we can look at all the details, and there we can see the comment to the league from the club, and I can see that it's approved. On here we've got a third party, so this player had played for RAF Benson in the past, so that's just from the background. But here we can see all the checklists, so all the questions that we had to answer when we were applying for league registration. We can see an audit trail, and again a third party there. Just ignore that. If that comes up, you may want to talk to the third club just to make sure it's all legal, but apart from that, everything's good there. We've clicked approve, so we've approved that membership, and this player is now an approved player for the Craven League. So we'll just check that. If we go into members now for Skipton CI, in the member database, and if I search for Linfoot, we can see here there are all his details as before, and we'll just have a quick view, make sure everything's correct, which it is. We can see his availability, his roles, whether he's left, right-handed, etc. But if we go into here, then we can see the roles like before, but if we look across now, we can see that he's now an active member for the Craven League. That's the transfer system complete, and that player is now transferred and able to play in the Craven League. In reality, it's much quicker than this, and it's very, very simple, and once we get used to the system, it will be dead quick. And here we can see the email that it sends to approve. That is how you transfer players purely using the Play Cricket system. Any questions, feel free to get in touch with myself, and all the details for me can be found on the Play Cricket website or through the Craven League administration.